Alright people, so before I get this video started, I just want to say that I'm going to upload this video. Today's like Monday night, I'm going to upload it Tuesday. I'm trying out, if anybody's watched my videos, I sometimes say, well, I do my videos on an iPad. Well, if anybody's been watching my videos, you would realize that the video quality is pretty lackluster. So I'm going to try to do it with my iPad and see if it's better. I mean, I apologize for the lack of video quality. I think it's been getting worse with my iPod. I mean, I'm not going to go out and buy some nice camera or whatever, but I mean, I actually want it to look at least decent. So, hopefully this iPad, and by the way, I make videos in advance, sometimes a week or two in advance, so I'm still going to have a few more iPod videos to load, but hopefully I can make all my videos via an iPad in the future, and hopefully this will work. So, and I apologize again for the lack of video quality. I should have went to the iPad much sooner. I see my videos and like the audio's all messed up with the visual, and I know it's very annoying to watch, so I apologize. But hopefully I can fix the problem, and hopefully it's better for the future. So anyway, I wanted to talk more about the CM Punk issue. Now, I made a video about I think Saturday about the whole thing, and I made a short video. I said I would make a longer one. I wanted to make one so I could get a lot of views on it. Truthfully, I mean, I'm not gonna miss an opportunity to make a video and get an above average view count. Might as well make a little bit of a video there. But anyways, I wanted to make an official video. That was like a shortened down version. I want to make an official video. And this is a great time to do it because Vince McMahon actually addressed the CM Punk situation in his podcast with Stone Cold Steve Austin after all. So Punk accused all WB of all these wrongful things, all these horrible, heinous things, like not treating the staph infection properly, not treating the concussion properly. At first I'm like, he sounds like he's telling the truth. He sounds pretty truthful, but we can't say this is, we can't take his word as fact. His word is not infallible. We have to confirm it. And what I said is WWE hasn't come out and refuted it. And Vince McMahon commented on it on the Stone Cold Steve Austin podcast, and to what I've seen, he didn't refute it either. Nobody's refuted the claims of CM Punk wrestling with they were trying to force him to wrestle or go out with a concussion or something like that, and they also left his staph infection untreated. So here's what they said, though. According to BleacherReport.com, it said, WWE also released a statement regarding the comments, according to Marcus Vanderberg of Yahoo Sports. And again, I always say these wrestling websites are not trustworthy, but usually when they release a statement saying, oh, this guy said this, I mean, if they lied about it, they would be very much demonized. But if they say, oh, rumor, this and this, I mean, you can't really say they lied. So usually when they do this, it's usually truthful. So this is what they said. WWE takes the health and wellness of its talent very seriously and has a comprehensive talent wellness program that is led by one of the most well-respected physicians in the country, Dr. Joseph Maroon. So they never came out and said, no, Punk, we treated Punk's staph infection. They never came out and refuted Punk's statement, which tells me that Punk is telling the truth. More and more evidence points to him telling the truth. And quite frankly, I don't think they really give that too much of a damn about their superstars' well-being, because they don't give a shit about their fans. So why would they give a shit about the wrestlers? And it's very confusing to me because Punk says Vince McMahon was crying. Well, if Punk had this staph infection and they were fucking, literally risking his life, like, why would he be crying? They're like, oh, we're all a family. Sure doesn't get treated like one, it seems like. So, yeah, but again, we cannot take every single thing Punk said as fact. Some of these things might have happened. Some of them might be exaggerated to a certain extent. Some of them might be, like the typical fan can interpret them as something different. But it certainly seems like he was very much mistreated. He was justified in leaving. I've been saying for fucking like 10 months, I'm not going to take a stance on this until enough information comes out. I think enough information comes out. This is official announcement, people. CM Punk was justified in leaving. So there you go, people. It took me fucking 10 months to fucking take a stance on the issue. But again, I just keep saying, you gotta wait for information to come out. I mean, maybe it'll take a few days, a few weeks, maybe 10 fucking months, but it eventually came out. You gotta wait for information to come out to make a legitimate opinion on something, people. You can't just blindly go along with fucking rumors, which are actually usually just stretched out, exaggerated things that aren't never come true. So, I mean, Punk really accused WWE of all sorts of shit. Like little petty rules where you can't say shit on Twitter and shit like that. So yeah, I mean, Bleacher Report put an article out. I'm not really gonna go. I was gonna go through it, but figured I won't go through it. I'll go through the one with Vince though, because Punk made some very very upset with WWE. You could tell. Do I think he's gonna return to WWE? Yes, I think I can almost guarantee that eventually, in some capacity, he's gonna return to WWE, because I think a lot of guys are very much upset with WWE at times. Whether Vince even said, Austin was upset, Hogan was upset, Heyman went on and said, I was going up there to do some production shit. And I said I had the mindset in the elevator that I wasn't going back, no matter what. But then after I, got up there, and then I decided to go back. So a lot of people like Heyman said, I'm not going back ever, 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 ever again. And then he went back, and how he's a main guy. I mean, not now because Brock Lesnar's on his ass at home, but I mean, he was there every week for fucking a long time. Long spans of time. He's there for usually every week. So I think Punk will be back. Probably, I think it's an 80% chance if I had to put a percentage on it that he will be back. So here's what McMahon said. Said Vince apologized for Punk's getting his termination papers on his wedding day, and that was coincidence. I think Punk is being a little bit of a bitch on that, because I think he had the mindset he wasn't going back to the company anyway. I mean, what did he expect? His contract ended in fucking, I think he said it ended in like July. So, I mean, is it really a big deal, Punk? I mean, you knew you weren't going back to the company. And again, this is just fucking constructive criticism. I'm not fucking hating on Punk. People say, oh, you don't agree with me on one thing, you're a pussy, or whatever. So many comments. It's like in the last month, like the IWC's gotten so ridiculous that if you disagree with somebody, they just call you a bitch without giving any reasoning at all. So anyway, it's just constructive criticism. You knew that your contract was up. It doesn't look like you were going back at all because you weren't really talking to anybody, it seemed like. So, I mean, is it really that big a deal that you got your termination papers, whether it was on purpose or not? And you didn't seem to care about wrestling at all. I mean, he's like, yeah, I was happy, so why is that big a deal? I don't, and then he talked about getting his royalty checks or whatever. That was kind of a little bit funny, I guess. How he left one downstairs or whatever in his couch, and he had to call in to WWE. Again, the injuries, Cena getting, he also talked about Triple H and his hatred for Triple H. And yeah, I mean, it was a good interview. He expressed his opinions, and it's about damn time he comes out and address. This is one thing I didn't like either. He's like, yeah, I don't like to, sometimes I go silent on Twitter, or sometimes I don't say shit because I don't want people getting mad at me, or the response, people get mad. And then he says in the same interview, I don't care what the haters, what they say, it very little affects me. So he kind of contradicted there. So there was a few things in there that I was like, really, Punk, I think he's just really upset with the company, so he's trying to take every single little thing and, make it into a big... And I'm saying that there's a lot of things I think he's legitimately should be very mad about. He has a right to be mad. He had a right to leave, I think, in my opinion. But I think he's just taking a lot of little issues and, making a huge fucking deal about it. And there's a lot of petty issues that he talked about that I think were wrong. Like, again, him saying shit on Twitter, like, he couldn't say that, and fucking... He talked about how, I think he talked about how Cena got some better perks than him, and talked about a movie role too, and Triple H pretty much gave it away to Orton. Talked about, he was mad about WrestleMania because he felt he had the best match but didn't get paid, and he did. Everybody pretty much agreed he had the best match, he didn't get paid like it. So we had a lot of disagreements with the company. Um, really talked a lot about his whole, not only his last year or so, but even went back, the previous years when he got some arm surgery or whatever. So it was a very good in-depth interview. I'd recommend it. You see it. And what else did Vince say? I got more shit here too. Um, McMahon also said Punk lacks communication skills and is a loner. I wouldn't doubt that. you know. Vince says he hopes WWE can squash. Yeah, I do too. I hope they can, tie up loose ends, whatever, and he could come back. Vince says if you walk out on the company, you also walk out on the audience. No, you on the audience. No. If you have a fucking, a staph infection, and they're not treating it, and you are potentially gonna die, you have a right to leave that company. They fucking could have killed you. I mean, you have a right to leave the company after all these things, these disparaging things they've done to him. If these are true, yeah, he has a right to leave, Vince. It's like if you're fucking, raping, anal fucking CM Punk, he has a right to fucking leave the company and sue you. You're not. So that's bullshit right there. If you're getting, fucking just mistreated, you have a right to fucking leave the company. That's it. That's pretty much it. They summed it up a little bit. I didn't go through the whole thing, but it's there you go. It's about damn time. It shouldn't not have taken 10 months. It should have happened right after the departure that Vince McMahon addressed it, that CM Punk addressed it. It should not have taken fucking 10 months or 11 months, whatever, almost a year. I mean, really. So again, I hope he comes back. He seems justified in leaving. So I'm going to take the stance right now. I think he's justified in leaving. He was clearly not being pushed enough. He deserved better. His fucking, his last fucking, 5-6 months is that boring ass baby, 4 or 5 months maybe, as that baby face, especially after SummerSlam, was fucking boring. He was so boring. He seemed, like he didn't really give a shit. I don't know if he seemed like he didn't give a shit, but he was just boring, So, hopefully he'll come back someday. I don't think he's going to ever wrestle again. Maybe, I don't know. A lot of people are like, yeah, I'm retiring, but then they come back like Hulk Hogan fucking wrestling at 60. So a lot of people say, oh, I'm retiring, but then they come back for one more match or whatever. So, is he going to come back? I think he is. Will it be a wrestling role? Probably not. But I think he could come back for, some appearances here and there. Much like some legends do nowadays. And I sure hope he comes back because I'm a CM Punk fan. Does he seem like a douchebag sometimes to people? Yeah, I think he is a douchebag sometimes. Like he was even talking about in his interview, like somebody walked up to him and said, hey, Phil, can I have an interview or an autograph? He's like, oh, that was so rude. I'm like, how is that rude? When you're talking, do you really have to say excuse me to people? Who really says that? What's wrong with saying, hey, Phil, I didn't see the rudeness there. And that's part of being a fucking celebrity. You get fucking people approaching you and talking to you. It might be a hassle, but you still have to respect those people because those are the people that, have given you these millions of dollars so that you could have left the company in the first place and have been happy. So, anyway, I'm glad he's happy. It sounds happy. He's married to AJ. I hope he lives a happy life, doing what he wants to do instead of wrestling and getting staph infections that go untreated and concussions that go untreated. So good for Punk for standing up for what he believes in, doing what he wants to do, speaking out. While he was in WWE he was very outspoken. So good for Punk. Hope I wish him the best. Sure gave me a lot of fucking great moments in the company. I thank him for sticking through all the fucking bullshit to give us all those great moments and sticking around for that long because it seems like he was being very mistreated. So there you go, people. There's my thoughts on CM Punk. Wish the best for CM Punk, and please, Punk, please come back sometime because we really want you back. So there you go, people.